Well, greetings everybody, and welcome to this week's Inworld review. If you're watching us live, I do apologise that we're actually a few minutes late. It probably comes as no surprise to any of you who know the hypergrid that we got entangled in it, and in fact, we are still trying to get someone here, but we're going to be doing that while we're live, so to speak. We have a pretty full show for you today. We're going to be getting some updates on the forthcoming Open Source Community Conference. We're going to be hearing about a fashion show, that's a hypergrid fashion show happening next week. And if all goes well, we'll be chatting to an Englishman living in Germany who's an artist. But we'll have to see about that one. So let me introduce everybody who's here first of all. I'll start, of course, with James Atloud, who's always here and running our cameras for us in the background. So welcome, James.
Oh, thanks, Mel. It's great to be here.
Yeah. Next to James, and between me, so to speak, it's Rhiannon Chatenois. I'm going to be calling her Joyce Bettencourt because you all know she's both. She's from Avacon, of course, and Avacon is the umbrella organisation that takes care of being an umbrella for OSCC, basically. So she'll be giving us some updates on that. So welcome, Joyce.
Thanks, Mel. Good to be here.
Right. And on my other side, we have Loru Destiny. She comes from the Next Life World Grid, and this time, Saturday, I believe it is, next weekend, they're putting on a sort of a major hypergrid-based fashion show, and we're going to be talking about that, seeing some pictures and stuff like that. And in fact, this is the magic. This is the magic bit. Laura is also accompanied by a lady called Ice Lady Pearl, who is a resident model for the day. Now, she's standing over in the corner, ready to change costumes on demand. But please bear in mind, we will not be showing her changing costumes. We will show you the end result of her costume changes, just in case you think you're watching another TV show. And hopefully, as I said, we'll be joined by Loru's partner a little bit later, he might butt in with translations anyway if we need them. I don't think we will, but we got some artwork of his to show as well. So we will see how it goes from there, so to speak. I think the best place to start, I think, is probably with Joyce. That just gives us a little bit of time in the background to sort things out. Welcome, Joyce. Like to give us an update on, I mean, obviously James and I are privy to a lot of this anyway, but from your point of view, update on OCC, we now have a fuller agenda, very full agenda, and lots of things happening. So maybe you'd like to give us a rundown.
Sure. So for those who might not know, OSCC is the Open Simulator Community Conference. And as you mentioned, Avacon, along with other programs that Avacon runs, is basically organizing, the main organizer of that event. We have, as Mal said, a pretty full schedule. The content goes from 7 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. Pacific, both Saturday and Sunday. And there's lots of other community events that happen around it as well, of which, there's still, if you are out there in the hypergrid somewhere, or not, even if you're willing in a closed grid and want to be able to allow people to create accounts on your grid and have an event, we have a form up on the conference.opensimulator.org site, so you can still kind of get community events into the schedule that happen around the main event. But we have everything from the core developers speaking in the main, on kicking it off on Saturday. Mal is doing a couple panels both on hypergrid and on kind of the viewer and beyond the viewer. We Maria, who I'm sure your viewers kind of know, Maria Koroloff, will be doing the Open Simulator Statistics panel that she often does, and kind of updating us on all that. And there's lots of other presentations that run the gamut from business to education to art to creativity, and lots of other things in between. So it should be good. So I'm sure we'll chat more about that as we go too.
Okay, wonderful. Well, let me switch. What we like is for people to interact on the show as we're going along, so anybody feels free to question any of the others while we're going. I'll switch to you, Loru, to introduce yourself. We do actually have. I'm actually going to adjust our slide screen as well to put. Oh yeah, the first view we got up was changed to probably put in camera is the advert for the fashion show, as it were. So maybe you'd just like to tell us first of all what the fashion show is all about, and everything, and then we'll move to your wonderful model as well a bit later on.
Yeah, thank you, and hello to everybody. Yeah, my fashion show, it is a project of many friends, and the first idea was I wanted to show my fashion. So I asked several friends whether they have ideas, and then people had so fantastic ideas to organize it. So we have someone who is a moderator, and he wrote really a funny description of every model. And we have these models, and we had many rehearsals and many ideas, discussions, and we are all looking forward to next Saturday when this fashion show will start, and after we will have a party with two wonderful DJs.
Yes, you can't have a show of any sort without a party afterwards, can you? And indeed, you were deep in rehearsals, literally up until the moment you came over here for this show. So busy time, I imagine.
Oh yes, very busy. Yes.
So I'm looking at the poster now, of course, and I guess we've got it on screen. The address people are going to need to go to on the hypergrid is nextlife-world.de. And the port number is the usual 8002. So it's colon 8002. And the venue is a region called the Loru Castle. That's two separate words, I think. Loru space CASTLE. Which is where it's all going to be happening. So we'll make sure we come back to that later. And it's open to the entire hypergrid, of course, isn't it? So, yep. I would just ask, actually, you have the AM and the date, then you have 1830 hour. What time zone is this in? Is this in German grid time?
Yes, it's German grid time, and it's New York time. It's 12:30.
Yeah, even I can't get that. I'm deducting 8 hours. So no, I think it's West Coast time. It's 10:30, and East Coast time it will there be. I'm lost. Anyway, it's 16:30 German time, which I believe is Central European time, which is even 1 hour ahead of me. So 2 time zones is one thing, but when I'm trying to calculate 3, forget it. Okay, well, we'll show you that poster a bit later. Let's move on from that picture, and we'll start by going to some of the pictures we've got over there, I think. As we go through them, you can sort of tell me a bit about them. I presume you can see the screen in camera. And Joyce, James, feel free to comment if you see something you like or whatever. So let's move to the first one there. Right. So are you seeing the images, Loru? Do you want to tell us a bit about them as I go through them?
Pardon, I have to. You'd like me to say something about the model, or what? Please excuse me. I was.
You see it now.
No, Paul, please. So about the picture, the model, I didn't get because I was with my with all the technical problems. What was the question, please?
Okay. Yes, I'm just going to go through the pictures while we're talking, and I thought you might like to tell me something about the pictures as we go.
Yeah.
I put the first one up against the iceberg or whatever it is.
Yes, yeah. It's a kind of iceberg. This is one of the more easy made dress, the trousers, the pants, and this blouse. And this is something how I started. This is what I like very much to try out to make something nice with nice textures. And but this I started before all this mesh dresses reached open grid, open sim, because the mesh dresses are much better in doing this. And but I wanted to show this because this is a kind of start. And I changed now. I make more dresses with gowns, formal dresses with nice trims, because I think that all these mesh dresses can't do this moving, like these old prims can do.
Yes, I mean, I used to complain about mesh hair because it didn't wiggle.
Yes.
You know,
Yes,
it may look lovely, but sometimes it's a bit stiff, you know, like it's been starched.
Yes, yeah. Always a bit stiff, and this is the same with the gowns, and so I think this is very nice. And now I'm also able to change the textures into layers, so also someone with a mesh body can wear my creations.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, before we go on to the next picture, let's have a look at Ice Lady, who is wearing a rather nifty outfit at the side of our stage. Maybe you'd like to tell us about this before she changes into another one. It's lovely. It is lovely.
Yes, and this is called Butterfly. And this is a kind of dress you can wear when there is a summer event in the evening, somewhere where it's nice and warm.
It's very nice. And is this a combination of mesh and prim? Because I love the way the lower half is just flowing, the sort of flexi. That presumably is sort of prim, is it?
Yeah, the skirts are prims, good old prims, and the rest, these are textures, because she's wearing the classic avatar, not a mesh one.
Right. Well, she's certainly looking lovely. So I guess I'm not watching our camera feed, but I assume we're getting a nice a nice view of it.
Oh, absolutely, Mel. Those flexi prims it's really fun how they move. They're very dynamic.
Yeah, yep. Very lovely indeed. Yeah. Lusting after that costume, Joyce?
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember when flexi prims even came onto the scene in Second Life. That definitely added a lot more movement and such. And I've always thought that even with mesh building, if you go that route, that sort of adding in flexi prims too is a good addition to get that movement, as you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Okay, well, maybe we will let Ice Lady get changed and take the camera away from her, and let's move back to the next few slides. Okay. Oh, we're in a farmyard.
Yes. I'm German. And so I also, we like very much to do Oktoberfest. And so I create several dirndl. But this is something when people like to have organize an event, they often ask me whether I can make a costume for them. And so, for example, this is one a dirndl. So for Oktoberfest, for drinking a lot of beer and eating a lot of Wurst.
Sausages. Yeah, I know what you Germans get up to. Very good. Okay, let's go to the next one. Here we got a more flamboyant one.
Yes,
that could well be FlexiPrims too, I suspect.
Yeah, FlexiPrims. Yes, they are. This is but also there's a Sculpey. This short skirt part is a Sculpey. This I also combine Sculpties, FlexiPrims, and textures. And here this is a little bit more, a little bit more extravagant dress, a little bit sexy. Later of the night, perhaps if you have a secret visitor, I don't know.
Yeah, it's all the mood, isn't it? Okay, secret visitors, I like that. Right, that's a good expression, isn't it? Right, okay, I'll move on. She could use a secret visitor or two as well, I suspect. Yes. Tell me about this one. She's by the beach.
Yes, this is my own sim. I made these photos on my sim, and this is also a nice dress for a cocktail party or something like this. Also a little bit more sexy and playing around with the prims and with the texture, with a transparent texture.
Great. It's a shame we're not on video sometimes. I imagine those birds are all flying around behind her. My regions are all full of birds flying in strange circles.
I love birds. Birds are nice.
Yeah, and there's plenty of sound effects around to go with them, which also helps. Okay, let's move on. I assume I said it's still changing, so we won't go there for a minute. Let's move on to this seems a bit similar to one we've seen already.
Yes,
she's standing in a castle, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, and this I made also for an event. A friend, he is writing stories. And so he invited for an evening, Gothic vampire style evening. And so I made this dress for this event, this and others in this style. So more with the mask and...
yeah, the masquerade. Yes, the whole thing.
Vampire masquerade.
And for any men watching who may be thinking of tuning out, don't worry. We do come to some shots of men's fashions later. It's not all women, by the way. Next one. Here we are. By the well. Very medieval.
Yeah, this is also, this is a little bit more this Victorian style. Also for an event I made, as I told you. And I like very much when people come and ask me to make a costume for an event. And this gives me inspiration, because the fun is to have an idea and to try out how to make it with all these prims and with colors, and to look for a nice texture.
This particular model's wearing, it's hard to turn a still picture, but she's wearing a rather decorative hairpiece as well. I don't mean the hair, I mean on her hair. She's got that nice... I don't know what it is. It's like a cowl or something made of beads.
So her hair. Pearls. I don't. But I don't. There are so many nice hair you can get. I can't do it because I don't have the patience for this. I really have big respect for all these women and men who can do these hair dresses. Great, really great work.
It's a bit like the as well. You see, not here, but in Second Life, particularly, people who do jewelry, and it's so detailed. They probably make it very big and then shrink it down to fit on the body and things. But you just look at the detail and you think, it's an art in itself, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is.
And I recognise the animals in the background of that shot from before.
Yes, because this is my castle, and I have all these animals downstairs, and upstairs I have my room where I'm living, with a good perfume.
Is sure perfume's the right word? Okay, I'll take your word for it. Okay, I'm just coming around here, and I think we can now move back to Ice Lady again without upsetting anything. And she has a new costume on. So tell us about this one, Ice Lady again.
Yes, and this is a gown when you have a really a big party, or when, for example, when you have a wedding or something like this. This is a quite old one, but I like it very much. I think it's now 3 or 4 years old, but I still like it. It's in red and white, and red is really my color. Red is my color.
I know. If she's wearing that around the holiday time, she's a match for Santa Claus in a way, isn't she?
Yes. Yes, you can wear it also with a white hat. You can wear it on Christmas too.
Right. I think, oh dear, she's changing in front of us. I don't believe this. Okay. And it's very quick. I presume it's quick for James too. Okay, well, yes, we got a quick transition there with no offensive bit Shane. Right, so it's about it's still coming in a little bit, isn't it? But since we got the camera there, I think, tell us about this one. Oh, some lovely decoration on this one at the front.
Yeah, this is a kind of for belly dance. This was the idea behind. So when you have a party with belly dancers, Orient style, you can wear this. And I like very much to make this decoration in front. And the bra, it's a sculpture, so I can put on these jewels.
Yeah, they're very striking. I think especially because the whole costume is dark, sort of black tones, and so the jewels really stand out. You know, as a feature in themselves. And we got a few tattoos, although I presume they're not part of the costume.
You see, those are a very, very good occasion to show all your tattoos.
Though I've never worn an outfit like that, I've actually done some belly dancing classes in real life.
Well, do you want to stand up and perform first?
Oh, that's all right. I think so.
No available animation. It's good. It's good exercise.
It's really tough.
I used to do fitness classes and things, and it's like going back to childhood. We have those hula hoops, like rings. You know, the whole idea was to move your belly, shall we say, you know, to manipulate those. And it's a very sort of similar sort of thing. And, you know, very sensible.
And a lot of it is really, just like working on isolating movements of certain muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, let's ask her to change again. I don't know how many costumes she's got with her, but let's go back to the slides so she can do that in peace. And let's move on to the next one, which is haystack sort of thing, hay bales. That's what we call them in the background.
Still this this environment. Yeah, but this is also a little bit more this Gothic style. I wanted to show. Yes. There's not much more to explain. As I said, this is for certain occasions, and this is one for this Gothic. I like very much this this Gothic style. This is something. So there's a miracle. This is a little bit dark, mysterious, hidden, evil. I like this very much.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we'll stay on the slides. Your husband's just arrived finally, I believe. So, if we stay on the slides, he can take a seat behind you while nobody's looking. Beside you, I mean. Okay. Oh, now this one's in a shop. Plenty of fashions behind her as well. Very back to the red, I see.
Yes, and this is in a shop in a region called Venice. And this is also a go. And as I said, I think I will start more doing something for the evening occasions.
Yeah, the evening ball kind of thing. Yeah. It's terrible when I go into shops. Instead of looking at the thing you're meant to be looking at, you try and look at all the boxes at the same time. So I better ignore those. Okay, next slide. Oh, I see a man coming up shortly. That'll make a change. Right. Oh, well, this is red again, but it's a red carpet, isn't it? Oh, that's yeah.
Yes,
that's pretty.
Yeah, I wanted to show you where our fashion show will be. You see in the background, this is my sign, for a live fashion. And this is the red carpet where my models will walk and show. This will do the catwalk. And this I wanted to show. And this is one of the dresses they will show there. This the castle behind. I also have a photo. I put in a photo of this castle so you can see it. This is something was built up by a friend, and I think it's unique. You don't find this castle anywhere else. No, this is not from somewhere taken from somewhere. This is built up here.
Lovely. Yeah, there's a very, I wander around Hypergrid picking out stuff all the while, never building it myself, but you know, it's always nice to go to a region where, oh, well, this is unique, you know. Sometimes I go somewhere and think, oh, I know that stage, or I know that building. And then at other times you just see something completely new, and it's wonderful. Okay, let's see how Ice Lady's doing. Yep, she's changed again. Okay, back to Ice Lady, I think. Oh, this one's very elegant. Actually, it looks a bit like a corset, but no, on her waist. But tell us about this one.
And now you see when she's moving, you see the stockings. So it seems to be very closed, this dress, but when you move, you see there's a
split.
A split, yes.
Yeah, the legs have suddenly appear. Yes, that's very. I like those. I like those. I like those dresses where they're like a half cut. You know, where you see a woman standing there and there's one long leg popping out and no sign of the other one. It's a style, you know.
Yeah, the women in open grid, they like very much this sexy style, but I don't like it when it's too obvious. When you show everything at once, everybody can see. This is not sexy.
It's
boring. I like more hidden one. This showing. Oh yes, I am a woman.
I must agree with that. I mean, we won't go into another conversation, but you know, the most erotic art and erotic costuming tends to be fully clothed. It's just a matter of the presentation and the suggestibility rather than full frontal nudity or something like that.
Yep.
The flexi prims on the dress are so interesting because when she's still, it appears black, and then as she moves, the white texture comes out. It's a great effect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the texture underneath. It's complete contrast.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's lovely. Oh, to be a woman. Sorry. I said the men are coming up, but we're going to wait a second there. We've got about 3 shots to go. Right, next slide over on the slideshow. All right.
So again, this belly dance inspired dress. And so you see this is wildlife in the background and a wild woman in the front.
Yes, wildlife and wild women. Oh, I love it. Right. Just my cup of tea. Right. Yeah, very. I was almost going to describe her as a buxom wench for a minute, but I think I better watch my language. Right, next slide. Oh, here we are. Oh, a nice sort of spacious shot there.
Yes,
behind with the birds, yeah.
Yes, the birds again, and a nice side from the back.
What kind of dress is it?
This is also a gown, yeah, and this is also shown on our fashion show. This will be shown there. And then when the next photos, you see a few dresses I made for men. Not dresses. What is this?
Costumes. Okay, here we go.
Yes.
Here we go. The first one, complete with the whole. Sorry.
This is I was asked to make a costume for a servant at this castle because there was a party, and so this servant this is an NPC. This NPC welcomed the people. This is something very nice you can do in open world. You can build very easily your NPCs, and I like this very much to do this.
Yeah, they're very useful NPCs at times. Just as before I go to the next slide, I've got a question actually. Do you know Nara Malone of Nara's Nuke on the Hypergrid? Do you know her?
No.
She's often upstairs at Safari and things, but they put on a sort of fashion show over there quite a long while ago, and it was actually intriguing, not just as a fashion show, but because all the models they used were NPCs, and the whole thing had been choreographed. So you had NPCs coming down, the catwalk, turning around, posing, and then moving up, and then coming back, and it was like a chain working, where it went backstage and suddenly changed. Sorry.
But yes,
sorry.
This must be really. When you talk about this, must be really fantastic. Perhaps I get an idea of a. No, not on real paper, but when you have something like Carnival, like Brazil Carnival, you can have NPCs with a wonderful feather costumes dancing. This could be a nice idea too. Big happening.
It could indeed. Are you using any NPCs on the show next Saturday, or is it all going to be live models? Like Ice Lady.
Everything is live.
Yeah. Very good. Nothing like live, is there? Okay, let's move on to the next one, which I think is another man. Yeah. Oh, this is Elvis. Isn't it?
This is the jacket I made. So. Also, I tried out. I'm not so creative with these man suits, I must tell. But this thing is I think this is quite nice.
It's a nice jacket, certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't mistake, the hair and the sideburns and the Elvis look. At least it's not the same white bodysuit costume. And also, this chap has considerably less weight than Elvis, I think, or at least the latter day Elvis. He's older Elvis. He fits into that quite well. Put it that way.
Yeah, you must know that all these pictures, it's always me. This is one of my avatars. Because when I make this male costumes, I must have someone to put them on and to try out. So these men are me.
Very good.
So tell me. I think that's a common, virtual world fashion designer thing, that often you end up being the model too during photo shoots.
Yeah, I'm changing sets quite rapidly depending on what you're designing. Tell me, do those sideburns tickle? Sorry, there's no reply to that really, is there? Let's go to so much of my humour. Right, let's go to the next one. Okay, against the tree.
This is a male pendant to this gender. So also made for men. Nice leather trousers for someone.
Oktoberfest.
For Oktoberfest, yes.
Right, I was just going to say it's a very Germanic feel of costume now. Is it a Lederhosen or something you call it?
Yeah, Lederhose, yes.
Yeah. the base, very distinctive style. You don't get it. Even the Scots don't wear that. they stick to their kilts. No, it's very it's nice, isn't it? Because, well, you're German, but I think it's kind of nice because it's got a bit of the allure of a uniform, but it's so casual at the same time. You know, it doesn't feel like a uniform bureaucrat or anything like that. It's like a cultural uniform rather than anything else. And of course, the pants are short, you know, stuff like that. So, yeah, very nice.
For me, this is a big fun to make them because I'm not from the south of Germany. You know, these lederhosen were in Bavaria. They wear it. So, and I'm living in the middle of Germany. In an industrial area, so there's where so it is really a big fun to make these because there's always a kind of the Bavarians like to make jokes about us Prussians, and we like to make jokes about the Bavarians.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, actually, it's really funny in organising the HIE. I better not comment too much here, but I do say things on this show. Where we're looking for German participants, and we were finding that it's almost as if there are two separate lots of Germans. And all the grids on one side know each other, all the grids on the other side know each other, and never the twain shall meet, as the English expression goes. I wonder if that's the Bavaria versus Prussian bit.
Yes, who knows?
Okay, we won't comment on that. Just wondering. Right, next one before I get myself in a drama controversy.
Yes.
Right. Oh, now, you know who this looks like? Rocky Horror in the Rocky Horror Show.
Yes.
Tell us about him.
Yes, you see, there's I have several male avatars. They're so funny, and this is someone a little bit gothic, something like this vampire.
Young Shakespeare.
And sometimes I must tell you, sometimes this is a big fun. Sometimes when we have a party, because the friends, they know my male avatars. So sometimes I come with my male avatar, and so it's really a big fun for everybody. So because I make the compliments for the women there, and they know to the women, and they know who I am.
Very good. I think I might dress in the armor behind him, but yeah, never mind. That's not a costume. Okay, next one. Oh, now here's a real poser if I ever saw one. Right.
Yes, I was asked to make a prisoner guard, and this is the result. So I did. Pure testosterone, I think.
Very much, complete with the pair of handcuffs on his waist.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
What's he going to do with those? Yeah. It's funny when I look at costumes and things. I don't so much think in terms of buying them or picking them up and wearing them, but I tend to think on camera. You know, oh, I should get somebody to dress up like that for a pose or something. You know, that the context they're in, and he's certainly a very distinctive character. I would say that. What's that say? Justice or something on this?
Yes, justice. Yes, this is what prisoner guards wear. I had to look in internet and to inform myself.
Okay, I'm going to spin round again and see what Ice Lady's up to. Oh, we're back in. Are we? Yep. Okay, let's have a look at Ice Lady again now. More red and black. It's a great color scheme, you know, isn't it? Yeah. And more flexies, of course.
Yes. But she's changing again.
Yes, as soon as we come back to you, Ice Lady, you change again. But it's, I guess it's variations on the flex, isn't it?
No, this is a new dress. She's changing to another one.
I think we need a choreographer here. There it is. I don't know what James is seeing on our cameras, but I think it's come in now. Yeah, very bright. Oh, yeah.
Very bright.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, we'll go back to the slayers until she's finished changing. I think we caught her mid-costume change there. Right, next slide. Oh, yeah, now this is a nice angle too. Sort of from the Lederhosen kind of thing again, from below with that nice female statue. More of a Greek statue there, really,
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. So, you see the superior Bavarian man.
Is that the same costume we saw in an earlier one, or is no? The Lederhosen is different, isn't it?
But you see, these are all textures. Now you can do them much better with this mesh, but I think it's okay. The quality is quite okay.
Yeah.
I can't do it with Blender. I tried several times, but no way to. I don't understand it. So I'm very glad that now I have this possibility with these layers for mesh bodies.
Oh yes, there you can add. Yeah, I was looking at that. That just in theory I could put clothes over this mesh avatar using layers. So they just have to be big clothes that hung right out over the alpha layer or whatever it's called. Okay, next one. Oh, getting a bit more punky here. Oh, he's got Elvis's sideburns though.
Yeah, but this is about the steampunk. I like very much the steampunk costumes. Many details, a lot of prims and sculptures and now mesh. I can't do them, but I like them very much. So I made a T-shirt, kind of steampunk T-shirt.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, next one. And another bloke still. Yeah, he's
for every day. Yes, for every day.
Sports jacket, really, isn't it? I can't quite read the logos and stuff he's wearing, but just everyday jeans and jacket, I guess.
It's not important, but I think the next photo. Then here you can see the castle.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is. Oh, I'm sorry. I've done. Oh God, just me to be naughty. Here we go. We're back. Yeah. I forgot what I was clicking on there.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So yes, and this is the castle, and the fashion show will be in the backyard, and this is the front of. It's a big sim. Very nice.
Big park area.
A big park area, yes, I like very much.
Is it a single sim or a VAR region or?
This is it's a region. It's a VAR region. It's a VAR region. Yes, it's a VAR region, but only one island, so there's a lot of water around.
Yeah.
It's made of mesh. The castle and yeah. So sometimes you have a little bit of leg problem.
Yes.
But we hope when we have this fashion show that nothing will go. And our grid master Achim, he will do his very best to avoid leg.
Extra stress.
Yes, extra stress in the background.
You say the castle is a mesh, and of course it's unique, as you said. Is it kind of exterior mesh, or does it have interior hollowed out mesh for walking around inside?
Oh, you can walk inside. No, it is. No, it you can walk in. No, there are inside, so you can walk. No, it's completely. So, you can use it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not only a facade. Facade.
Yeah, no? you get a lot of the facade, but of course, as you say, it can stress things a bit if you've got complicated insides of a mesh. It's like tunnels done with mesh, you know. You need to be quite careful. It's a lovely building, so it certainly looks like a lovely venue. Right. That's just the only picture of it on its own, isn't it? Okay. Well, we've seen this already by accident.
Yes, let's go on. But now only a few other costumes or dresses now here. I didn't know how what I should show, so I took many photos.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just seeing if Ice Lady is finished dressing. Not that I'm being nosy. I just want to. Yeah, I think she's ready.
Yes,
Almost ready for camera. So let's go back to Ice Lady.
Yes, this is is called mermaid because of the color and the decoration, the belt, and all these things.
Trousers.
The trousers, yes. Yeah.
And that hair is wonderful. You must be jealous of the hair, Joyce. It's a bit like your. Well, not like yours.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, well, it varies from one grid's avatar to another, but yeah, this hair I have here is a bit on the wild side. But I love the color of the dress too. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one part of the fun because you can. I'm using GIMP, not Photoshop, because a few years ago I found some instructions about GIMP, and you can get it for free. So I tried out, and I'm still using GIMP only, and you can change the colors of textures very easily. And I like so much to change and to look and to try out and. This is one part of the fun.
Variation.
Yes, make variations.
Oh, I'm in love with that hair. Right. I do like that particular hair. Anyway, okay, well, I said you can get on with their changing, and I'm going to move back to the next slide, I guess. Oh, very colourful. And doing the belly dance, I imagine, from that shot.
Yes. I like very much this belly dance music, so when Rhiannon, when she said she did it, I would like very much to do it one time, because really it's the movements and the music, it's really nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's there's some simple moves that even anybody can do in the beginning. A lot of those little shimmies, those little hip drops, you can easily learn.
Yeah,
I
love that word, shimmy.
It's a very belly dancing word. Yeah, shimmy.
Shimmy that. No, we won't go there. Right. Actually, the thing that grabbed me when I came to this picture is I'm a big fan of pre-Raphaelites, and as we're looking at the picture on the right looks like slightly familiar, although I may. It's of a genre anyway. Nice picture at the back too.
Ah, yes. Yes. Also, these pictures you find in the internet is also one part of the fun. Yes, it's harem, huh? So belly dancers, harem, women having a bath. Good time.
Very good. Right, next one looks colourful too. Here she is.
Yeah, the next one is you can get some mesh parts for free in open sim. This I like also too very much, and it's so wonderful that people they put these things into their place. You can get them for free, and so this is a combination. This skirt is made of mesh, and it has a alpha, and the rest is texture.
Lovely. How many costumes are there actually on display at the fashion show? Obviously the ones you're showing us and stuff, but it must be quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, we have. I think Steve.
Yeah. Too many.
Yes, many. Yeah.
Too many to count. Fair enough.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, now a bit more glamour.
But this is also for a motto show. It was rock and roll, and so I was asked to make a costume for the 50s, and they have this petticoat, and so I tried out to make this petticoat. I would have liked to do this petticoat in white, in another color, but I couldn't, so it's now like this. But people like it.
it's polka dot, isn't it?
Yes,
Is
it's
that
polka.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Polka. Yes, yes.
I'd actually love to see that moving, because it looks to me like there is a mass of flexi layers to that skirt.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. That could be quite wild to look at, I think. Right, back over to Ice Lady. Yes. Now she's become very colourful all of a sudden.
Yeah, this is one from the fashion show. She's showing the creations for the fashion show, and this I like very much too, because as I said, red is my color, and red and gold is really a nice combination.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, despite the length of that skirt, it does seem to be. It doesn't open up, but it still looks like the belly dance thing. Oh, it does open up. Sorry, her legs are coming out. Yeah.
Yes.
Very nice. Wonderful. Okay, well, I think we're nearing the end here, so let's just go back to the final slides. In fact, yeah, 2 more, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, more of the polka dot.
Yes, again polka dot. Yes. And when the next one, as I see this, the next creation, this is the last photo. Oh God,
the next?
So many photos.
Yeah, the last one you mean? Yeah, this is
Yes.
with the piano here. Oh,
Yes.
that looks a bit like one of my avatars behind the piano, but never forget that. Right? Okay.
Yeah, but this is also an NPC, and so. This is the place. The place we will have the party after the fashion show. And I hope many people will come. As I said, Achim in the background, he will do his best. That there's no question.
Is it just DJs the party, or do I take that photograph to mean there's live musicians?
We have DJs.
Yeah.
No music. No, it's DJs. They have their stream. So, but this is not a band playing or something like this.
Right. Okay. No, I was just wondering when I saw the avatar on the piano. I thought maybe.
No. No one wants to hear me singing, so I won't do.
Okay, well, I'm now looking at Ice Lady again, and we're in the same costumes. So I guess we've probably timed it rather well. She's been. I hope we didn't miss any. Let me move the slideshow forward and bring up. There we are, the title slide, so that we can refer back to that as we go. As to where it is next Saturday. Oh, I must say this is looking wonderful, and Ice Lady's presence has really livened up that. What was just a slideshow rather well. Lovely job, Ice Lady. You've been looking great in all that gear. Very flexible, in a manner of speaking. Yeah. Yes. Oh, I'm so witty, aren't I? Okay. Well, as you might better tell folks, Art Destiny has now also managed to join us. So hi there, Art.
Hello. Better late than never.
You're better late than never indeed. And whoa, I'm cammering in on you. Quite a face you've got there. Have you been fighting zombies or something?
No,
I shouldn't ask, really.
It's really a statement against all the beautiful avatars in the open virtual reality. Everyone's young and beautiful. I like to look sort of like a mature man.
I'm very much the same, although I don't like to look too mature. But you have a fashion statement too. You've got some rather nice jeans on, very punky, sort of, with the straps around the legs and stuff like that too. And
there are some designers in OpenSim that make good stuff. I think these ones are from Littlefield Grid.
Oh yeah, Littlefield, yeah.
Cameron Dark or Dark Cameron, something like this. They're a few years old, but I like them.
Yeah. whether you got something you like. I never change. Oddly enough, I've got a mesh avatar now, and I actually change out of it for this show because its lips don't move. Oh, and have we changed costume again back there? Yes, have we seen this costume before? You should just no, we didn't look at this one, did we?
So
and the something else seems to be rather flexible in that costume too. I don't think I'm going to be as impolite as to say what. They seem to be jiggling excessively. Sorry. So tell us quickly about this costume before I put my foot in it.
You saw this costume on the photo, and it's also shown on the fashion show. This is one at the castle, perhaps you remember. Now you see how it moves.
Yes, I do. Very much so. All of it as well. Very good. Okay. I don't think we ever saw her modelling that live, so I can fail to notice.
And then you see it's a combination of sculpt and trims and textures. This part which is stiff and doesn't move is a sculpty, and the others on the hips. So
yeah, lovely. Okay, well, let's move straight on. Art, you and Loru, of course, are a couple. You're from England, my hometown here, so to speak, and Loru's German, but you live over there together in Germany, don't you?
Yeah.
Are you working together on this fashion show, or are your activities fairly sort of split? I know you do artwork, which we'll see in a minute.
No, I'm not involved at all. I try to support as much as I can, but I really nothing to do with it's all Loru's.
Okay.
Loru's project.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking, you did kindly drop, I think it's 3 paintings on me to show your work. So I'm going to pull those up quickly. Right, now this first one's got text on it, Sad Alone, Hope, Brave, Fight. Maybe you'd like to tell us a bit about this piece?
Yes, it's a photo manipulation, trying to show what the text says. Someone who's feeling a bit maybe depressed, maybe ill. I feel very alone. That I haven't given up hope, and they're still fighting to get better.
Sure. And the I forget the polarizing of the shades and everything.
Solarizing,
creating the mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a bit of self-portrait in that?
No.
He was really quick to say that, so I think we can rest assured on that front. Okay, now
I had a couple of a couple of months ago, and then I felt a bit like this, but soon got better.
Oh, exactly. The mood takes you, but you overcome it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Ice Lady is still changing costumes, so I'm very tempted to quickly say, can we go back there? Okay, back to Ice Lady. Another costume?
Yes, it's also for a party you see this is a mini skirt and this flexis makes it a long skirt. It's a combination. I like very much this transparent long skirts, I think. And also the decoration, the hips.
Yes, and her shoes are very, when they come into view, her shoes are kind of sparkly and high-heeled. Very noticeable, I guess, in contrast to the costume itself.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah. No, but these shoes are not made by me.
fair enough, fair enough. Okay, back to Art's artwork. Now, you only sent me 3 paintings, but they're all very different. So I'm going to move to the next one now. This is not photo manipulation per se, is it? What is it, watercolor?
No. This is,
No.
The story behind this is really 2 different paintings. One is an acrylic painting. The lady on the right hand side,
Right.
she's from one painting, and the 2 other figures are from another acrylic painting. And these 2 paintings are completely different than what I've combined here, but I combined it here because I thought they went very well together to portray this sick woman with her relatives who are rather concerned.
Yeah.
It's the emotion of people by a sick bed where someone is very seriously ill, maybe dying.
Yeah.
It's trying to get the emotion across to the viewer.
Yeah, but this is what is art. Art's art. What he is doing is not showing happy and party and everything is fine. This is yeah.
It can be. It all depends on what I like portraying. Though is people's emotions, interaction between people, and trying to get it across in my pieces.
Sure. Yeah, they are very. I don't know how to say it. Kind of removed from each other, aren't they? The first painting. She's like a sort of present, very obviously present, but like a phantom in the background, like they're not sure quite what to do.
How long she will last?
Okay, let's move on to the final one now, because as I say, this is very different again. This actually sort of it reminds me of so many styles, but almost like African art almost. And of course, this has got the birds. I guess they're doves, are they? Sort of worked into it.
It's just a little bit zany. It's what are the birds doing flying around the people. The woman in the background looking at this woman in the foreground who looks slightly manic or strange.
That's funny. I wouldn't have said that as an observer, but fair enough.
Has a bit of that almost that I think you were thinking of Mal Gauguin when he did that primitive phase.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And just the expression on the guy. Is that a woman or a guy behind?
It's a woman.
Oh, yeah. Now, again, it's just interpretation, isn't it? I somehow thought it was a guy. But that sort of center focus of her eyes, just...
what's going on?
I've seen that expression of people. But it's kind of almost unfathomable because they don't seem to be looking at a given thing. They don't quite seem to be looking at the artist, the camera, so to speak. It's like that narrow focus look. I can't really pronounce it any other way, but it's like you're not sure whether he's wondering what's going on or whether he's just staring into the distance, kind of thing.
Or looking at you, even at the viewer itself.
Yeah. But
it's very penetrating.
Most of my art, I'd say, when people ask me, often in the past, I used to often go around in restaurants, cafes, and show my art and sell some. And people would often ask me, and what do you mean by this picture? And my standard answer after some time was, well, really, it's what you see in the picture.
Yeah.
Because I mean one thing with it, but often my paintings can be interpreted in many ways. I say 100 different viewers, 100 different perceptions.
I think, generally speaking, that's what most art is, especially when you move into, as opposed to photorealism or something like abstraction and things, because some people create an illustration, they're illustrators for a job, or it's to illustrate something specific, but when it comes out of the artist themselves, it may communicate with one person, it may communicate with a million, but there's no rules that says what it communicates to all those individuals. That people interpret things very different ways. Like I thought that was a guy,
Yeah.
Obvious.
And what's most important for me is you either love it or hate it, but not what a nice picture. I don't like that.
Yeah, kind of, oh, what a pretty picture.
Yeah.
Did you do that? Sorry.
We've got a comment on the YouTube stream for beautiful pictures.
Oh,
beautiful pictures.
Yeah, James. Yeah.
Yeah, comment on the YouTube stream. Beautiful pictures.
Oh, very, very good. Have we got a name? Have we got a name with that acclaim?
We do a name that we know. That would be Thurza, who is watching.
Oh, very good.
Yep.
Yeah, she says she do hope to be back in time to watch. So, hello, Thurza. They are indeed, aren't they? So, yeah. I might even have had Thurza on if she'd been around, but we'll move on from that. Okay, I'm back with Ice Lady. I can't resist. Every time I look, she's in a different costume, or maybe she's just moving. I don't know. Any comments on this one, Loru?
Yeah, this is a little bit. I thought I'd do something extraordinary from the design. It has a kind of warrior lady or something like this. Is what I was thinking about. And also, this is a costume for a nice party. A little bit extra.
Right. Okay, well, I gotta get us to camera away because I see she's changing again. And I wouldn't want us to see too much. Right. Okay. Yeah, so wonderful paintings there. Okay, I'm going to swap the main slide on that screen back to something more topical, because this is, we show that every week for weeks now, but this is the promo poster, or one of them at least, for the Open Simulator Community Conference. Do you think we're missing out not having fashion shows on the OSCC, Joyce? It's a bit old. Yeah, it's a bit off center for us, isn't it? But
no, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, for myself, I mean, it's always been this coming together of, I mean, yes, the about the technology and the core developers and Open Simulator itself, but then also the richness of the user base and how everyone uses it, and there's a lot of community and art and things like fashion and music, and that are just as much a crucial part of it. And I said, especially with the hypergrid and the fact that everybody can kind of spin up their own worlds or have regions and, some hosted larger world and kind of make it an expression of their own interests. I mean, that was, in some ways, that was once, the first 2 years of because we really had to kind of, we had multiple tracks, we were kind of controlling, making sure that it was stable, that, we had to, we were able to eventually kind of bring in, allow hypergrid users to kind of come in freely into the conference too. So, that then allowed us to add, what I was talking about with the community events, like, if someone wants to host a fashion show during, not during the immediate Saturday and Sunday content, like we don't want it to compete with the presentations, but if somebody wants to host a fashion show or, music event or a tour of your, build or anything like that's where that kind of came into play, that you can, go to the site, fill out a form, and we'll throw it on the schedule. And then everybody who's kind of coming to the main conference site for the schedule will also see all those things too. And so that allows it to be a bigger community at large thing. I mean, it's not like we can organize all these things. Yeah, but it gives an opportunity for us to throw light on other people doing these things across all the grids in this kind of unified open simulator metaverse, and what they're doing, and allow them to organize their little bits and us to promote it in the larger big piece. But I'd love to see a fashion show.
I'll just go back to Loru a minute, because something I completely forgot is, of course, I'm not, Thursday would know better than me, but you are actually doing something with the Hypergrid Expo too, aren't you, Loru?
Yes, further she asked me, because she said there are only a few Germans there who present the German grids, and I don't know why. And I was wondering. We will see. I already asked Achim perhaps that he could do it, but I think perhaps it's because so many Germans, they are afraid that they have to talk in English, or that they must understand something in English or whatever.
They seem to be incredibly afraid of Skype. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's the talk thing or just Skype the product. They don't like it.
Yeah, but you see, this is many use Skype. I didn't use. I had to install it now for this show here. Nothing bad with it. I don't know. It has no. We must see. Perhaps it has something to do that we have to talk more about, that things like this happen, and I'm really looking forward to what people will tell, will present a show, and then I will tell other people. So perhaps next time when this will happen, more like to take part. They don't know about. They don't discuss it.
Strange thing. They use do you know? You might be able to tell us while you're here. There is a site, isn't there? I think it's called Grid Talk DE, which I was told a lot of the German hypergrid community use. I mean, it's not a Skype. It seems more like a forum to me. Are you familiar with that?
It's a forum, yes, I think so. Grid Talk. We have several forums for and many. I must have a look now. Who is it in Grid Talk? Perhaps it is from Dorena's world. Yeah, but this is also every grid master like to have their own forum. So this is from Dorena's world. I see now.
Oh yeah.
To have their own forum. We don't have one common. This was a big discussion because they said, come on, we have to one so we can share the informations. No,
yes.
But no, we have many, so you have to read in many forums.
It is. It must be a cultural thing. I don't want to disparage you Germans, but it does seem to be rather odd that lots of strands, and when the whole community and the hypergrid thing is really about coming together. But one of those things. Okay, well, let me give you a little bit of a rest, and come back to Joyce on the OSC thing. Yes, exactly. I'll just take an interlude to look at Ice Lady again. I don't mean just me, but also the camera. She's changed again. I can't resist. Just tell me quickly what she's wearing now.
Yeah, this is also for a hot summer night, beach party, something like this, with a long skirt, but it's opened in front and showing the sexy legs of the woman who is wearing it. Some decoration there at the places where a woman is very nice to look at.
Indeed. What can I say to that, really? Oh, I've got a feeling, I'm sure James has got the camera over there, so maybe while we're talking, he can just keep an eye on Ice Lady, who seems to be changing costumes frequently. I don't know how she's got in her suitcase, but anyway, back to Joyce. Yeah, highlights coming up. Obviously, you'd agree with what I was just saying about, the coming together thing. It seems a shame, that when you got something like the hypergrid and all its potential, then you find little grids off the beaten track somewhere that really just seem to be out on their own, and also groups of things that. There does seem to be a limit to how much outreach and collaboration there is. I mean, when we were talking to you, Cesar and I, about the international expo idea, the whole idea was sort of pull in the unseen, because you have to admit that OSCC is very English language focused. By and large, that's the way it's evolved, and the majority of people, ranging from the core, actually, when I think of the core devs, it's pretty international too. But it's the common language thing, I think, and
Yeah, I mean, certainly on a language front, the conference is predominantly in English. But actually, I mean, if you look at the presenters, if you go through, besides obviously Thurza is is doing the hypergrid tour again during, but outside of that, we have 30 other presentations or panels or that kind of thing. And
give us a roundup while you're at it.
Oh yeah, and a fair amount of them are folks who are in Europe somewhere. Or which was a fun exercise when we were juggling the schedule, to make sure that you're slotting presenters in times that are a bit more friendlier for them, but we have quite a lot of people that are from everywhere, from Portugal and England, and we do have a couple Germans, Italians, so they're all presenting in English, but it is fairly a good makeup of international folks outside of those of us who are in the U.S. And there's also a good mix of, it's unlike a lot of quote unquote kind of tech focused conferences. There's a lot of women speakers too, which is not necessarily something you see in a lot of in-person conferences, sadly, in the tech space. But yeah, there's the schedule is on OSC. The URL is oscc2017.sched, which is scaged.com. But you can also get to all these links from the conference.
Hang on, is it a .com or .org?
The actual main is .com. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. Right,
but
okay.
That's just the schedule. The conference.opensimulator.org, that is a .org. So all the main information, you can find the links to that, and that links to the schedule. We use a separate tool for the schedule, which is that Sched thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So and you can find the link and all this stuff and how to register, and there's still need, for volunteers. We definitely need lots of, speaking of folks that even if as you said, like often it is an English-centered thing, but we are hypergrid open event, so folks come in from wherever. So even if you're somebody who does have a second language and wants to kind of help in regards to greeting and making sure to help people, we definitely need things like that. Extra greeters, extra folks who are willing to moderate, who aren't afraid of Skype, to be on a call, yes. and be part of introducing presenters. So we certainly have needs for that. If anybody wants to go to help out in those more direct ways, you can go to conference.opensimulator.org and fill out kind of a form and get a hold of us, and we'll bring you in to volunteer. But the content itself, as I said, it ranges from very technical things with the core open devs and some conversations on physics and then things about some of the topics that are much more kind of commerce or business focused. We have a thread of learning and education focused ones, whether they be kind of practical, people talking about their projects, or broader things about learning in general in spaces like Open Simulator. there's and then of course, Mel, I mean, I don't know if you want to talk to people about the 2 panels that you're leading, which should be pretty exciting.
Yeah,
as well.
I was just thinking it's I won't say it's an even split, but it's a sort of split between panels and actual presentations, isn't it? Where individual presenters for 20 minutes for a given presentation, and panels, of which I'm hosting 2, well, co-hosting with Thursday, really, one of them, on particular subjects. So we
probably have about 6 or 7 panels, so it's probably about,
Yeah. We have the core devs panel, which always opens it, of course, and that tends to be the tech side, a bit out of the way, really. Then we have there's a commerce panel looking at the commerce side of the hypergrid and OpenSim, which is probably about as far away as you can get from the core devs, to be honest, because they don't tend to like commerce very much. This
and then your 2 panels.
This year in particular, I'm doing a sort of. It's more of an interfacing panel, really, that started off as a viewer panel. I think it's my 3rd year now doing one. Looking at the viewers and ways of viewing and interfacing with our social worlds. And I have Adam Frisby, who's the founder of OpenSim, but he'll be much more of a commentator, I think. And he is, of course, CEO of ScienceSpace now, which is a world with which we can connect quite easily. I don't mean you can download the client to connect easily. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that Open Simulator is a very valid authoring platform, where you can actually create work and export it as DAE and then drop it into Unity and upload it to other worlds. So, the commonalities there, it's not like one platform versus the other. There is a certain amount of creative interlocking at the moment, and I would hope at some point in the future, not distant future, there'll be other kinds of interop, like a grid phone or something that connect Second Life to Open
Simulator to
high fidelity, and then Unity-based worlds like ScienceSpace. So, interop is very much my thing, because I'm concerned. I'm a user. And the viewer and the way it looks is so important to me, but there's nothing I can do about a viewer that won't get me onto another platform. The hypergrid is great because our hypergrid viewers open up this whole world to us, but I still can't hypergrid into high fidelity or ScienceSpace, and that's very unlikely to happen. But I would love that one day I might be able to launch a metaverse viewer the way I launch a web browser, and to have something that knows how to interpret the whole variety of stuff, or at least provides some kind of interoperability between them. So, we have a web of virtual people and places in the same way at the moment we have a web of pages and jumping dance in commerce. Hopefully not too much a lasso, but, some kind of underlying protocol that would allow those to connect. So, obviously a viewer panel there. We've got Robert Adams from the dev team. We'll be talking a bit about, putting OpenSim-like worlds on the web, for example, be it in something like the ScienceSpace web version, or the Cyber Lounge, which Dieter Hain does, and he'll be on that panel too. I'll obviously be talking with Krista Lopez, who made the hypergrid, founded it. We can't leave her out. And and the hypergrid panel, I think, should be very interesting too, because Krista will be on that too, so we can talk about the history and what it is and what it can do and prospectively could do in the future. We'll also have Pathfinder Lester, who of course was behind the original Hypergrid Adventurers Club. Co-hosting with me, we'll have Tosa Ember, who of course is the leading light behind our weekly Hypergrid Safaris. We'll also have a chap called Sean Emerald on, who runs a grid called Sanctuary, or rather a particular region of it called ELD, which is probably the most comprehensive hyperport, if that's the word, you'll ever find. There are just these blam gates, hypergates, whatever you call them, everywhere, you know. And I, you know, if I can't get to somewhere in one jump, and it's going to need 2 jumps, I head to Sanctuary and then find the gate and go. Yes, sorry.
I just wanted to mention, I see that Ice Lady needs to say goodbye.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, Ice Lady, you've been doing a wonderful performance there. I'm quite sure James in particular is going to regret having to take his camera off you. You have been wonderful. Thank you very, very much for coming, and we look forward to seeing you, amongst others, on the catwalk next week. But wonderful costumes. Thank you very much for just standing there, really, and showing them off to us. So thank you very much, and we'll make sure we turn our camera away so you can depart in peace. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Ice Lady. Really, thank you.
You were bringing up panels. There's obviously a few other panels, and some of those folks are on. Some of those, like we were talking about, Lear Lobo is doing a kind of a mini panel on bridging worlds, which is really kind of more about the content flow. And Dita Hain will be on that, as well as Joey Obama, who has kind of brought content back and forth around between Second Life and Simulator, Science Space, all those kind of environments. Another interesting panel is there's a group of librarians, which Elise Durnovant Jones, Valerie Hill, Marie Vans, some of them are presented at various conferences around other things, but they're doing a virtual worlds focus on their efforts to, as you were saying, kind of get the word out about various things. They've been working on and creating a virtual worlds database. So logging spaces where people are learning, logging communities, logging, other things like that, and working on, from a librarian point of view, helping to curate things and bring together all this information about spaces in various, not just Open Simulator, but, Second Life, other virtual worlds, game spaces, that kind of thing. So they're going to talk about their virtual worlds database and how and so that those are some questions about that whole finding. It's like a perfect task to kind of focus on librarianship in a way, to feed this problem of where is everybody and how do you find them, right? So they're going to be presenting on that. There's to the nod of like creativity before and art. One of the other panels as well is a mixed reality focused one, holopresence, which is basically using like projection, whether that be holograms or light projection, and using that in mixed reality ways in virtual worlds. So Open Simulator, Second Life. And I'll be moderating that one, and there's some folks that have been doing Patty Rangel, our own, I think Marcus Llewellyn might have been on here before, Michael Bailey on the show.
Oh, yes, he's been on.
Many times.
And then
is our backup camera when James.
Yes, and Jeroen France, who is from Charming. So, some project work that they're working on as with Patty, who's an artist in residence at the Arena Stage in Washington, D.C., and trying to use projection and these virtual spaces and connecting them to like theater and performance. So they'll be chatting about that and kind of, I think, showing off some of that. I'm not sure if there's other. I mean, obviously, as you said, Thursday's doing her Hypergrid tour, and that'll be on Sunday, and that's always a fun thing and a great way to get folks. If you've never, if you have little experience in the hypergrid, which as we've talked about before, outside of and I'm sure even in prior MetaWorld conversations that hypergrid is kind of, I think, the one of the cornerstone secret sauce magic things of Open Simulator in a way.
Yeah, I call it Open Simulator's killer app. Because
Yeah.
if you think of OpenSim as an underlying platform, it's the hypergrid that is no other platform, big or small, actually has conceptually got the hypergrid, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
The ability to jump between worlds, even though the worlds on the hypergrid do have to conform to Open Simulator or derived code, should we say. It is a vast world out there. There are just, I was saying in the news earlier, Maria's site confirmed, I think it's 97,000 regions now on OpenSim, in fact, I think I heard at one point the land, this isn't audience users, but I think the actual land mass of OpenSim has exceeded that of Second Life, which is mind-boggling when you think about it in its own right.
Yeah, I'm sure there's been contraction over time in the Second Life, and then obviously growth on the Open Simulator side.
Now, I've actually opened up the agenda at SLED while we're talking, and so I'm just browsing through there. I mean, Maria will be giving the statistics, of course, as you mentioned. 40 virtual cities online, going for 4,000 more. Do we know what this one's about?
Yeah, Christer Lindstrom, who he is behind in Citra, a company in Citra, and they do a lot of using Open Simulator and with some custom kind of content module stuff that they also kind of work in with there, but they use Open Simulator as a way to sort of to use it for simulations that are either civic or city involved in a way. So, city planning, traffic simulations, and they work with a lot of like a city may come to them, like, San Jose or those sort of things. And they're working on like, okay, well, we need to, rebuild this part of the city or rethink about our transit infrastructure, and they'll go to them. And so they're using Open Simulator as a serious tool to be able to help, governments of cities to redesign, like, their like city spaces or their traffic flows and how their transportation issues. So
and the quest to build smart cities.
Yes, absolutely.
Every major city wants to be the first, leading in smart city front. Even though half the governments involved don't know what a smart city is. But Now, also following that, I mean, Art Blue, who we know on Safari and stuff, is good with that. He's at the Expo too. He's in Germany, of course, Rainer Schneeberger. But there's two after that day, which have similarities to me. One, the noble spirit, which is transcendentalism and transdiscipline, and then another one much later on called A Mind Palace for English and Immersive Worlds. And, they both invoke visions of sort of philosophy or something or other.
I mean, the classic thing about the the Mind Palace being like in your own mind building up almost imaginary physical room spaces where if you put this away on that bookshelf in your mind, then you can go back and think about that bookshelf and where it was in that particular space to be able to pull up that piece of learning information. And then in the case of, they're using that paradigm and they're kind of mapping it to a virtual simulation, right? So in Open Simulator, that same idea, that in your build, over here, this is where that particular learning can happen, and kind of mapping those things. So even, it's a way to, I think, almost share, to create that sort of a similar space as you would in your own mind, but be able to like share it and be a learning tool for many people. So it's not just your mind space, but everybody's mind space that sees the same thing. So I think they're probably jumping from that. Although I'm not sure, but that's my my probably thoughts on them using that. And then the other one you mentioned, Lead Logo is part of that other one.
And Barbara, delightful.
And Andrew Stricker, I know that they've been working. They've been working on lots of things. Andy Stricker is kind of out of the kind of Air Force, and are using Open Simulator to sort of teach trainees. But what they're, I think, focusing on the panel is they've been doing a lot of other things about, as you said, these kind of more philosophical ways to sort of use the space for learning and betterment, and the sort of overall positivism.
Yeah. Focusing, really, isn't it?
Yes.
The individual.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Now, later on, of course, 3 p.m. on the Saturday, this is going to hopefully be a big one. It's something I use. We got Ferd Beckhausen talking about the new version of Dreamworld. And also, he's going to be talking about stats, too, because he collects a lot. But Dreamworld, it's not called Dreamworld, but effectively it is. This space simulator that we're broadcasting from here, is an installation of his thing. It's a very easy to set up open simulator where you can put your own grid on your desktop, and that can become your home. You can hypergrid in and out, and depending on your connection and your computer, you can't necessarily use it for public events, but it becomes a world that you put on your desktop as your gateway to everything else we do on the hypergrid and in OpenSim.
So
that should be.
This MetaWorld broadcast space is you're hosting it that way?
Yes. This is Fred's this is Fred's Outworlds software, which is the same as Dreamworld that we run here.
On a machine at yours, on a machine at your house.
I'm coming live from my desktop, and so are you. But as James will attest, if we don't have an audience, the performance here is phenomenal. I forget what it is, James. We went up from 30 frames a second to about 75 or something, and James will know this one.
Yeah. Well, right now we're running about 53 frames per second.
Are you so is there a way you're logging in through the console onto his machine of this instance?
No, just for the streaming. So for me to capture the stream, very nice frame rate.
It's I mean, basically, this is OpenSim running on my machine, but this particular grid has no residence except me. But everybody who comes in, like you, comes in by the
hypergrid in,
hypergrid in, and there's nobody else on the region, which is 25 standard regions. It's a file. It's absolutely colossal, and there's there's very little performance hit at all. So, I think. Well, I've mentioned this before. It's another show, but I think for a certain kind of person, this is the future too, because your own virtual house, your garden, your estate, in my case, will be on your own machine. But you better jump in and out and bring people in and out. You won't be hosting a group with residents. You will just host your own space, however big or small it is. Yeah.
But it allows you to still, you still have all the full capabilities to create content, and folks can come in and get that. You can kind of save your inventory, bring it into other grids if you did have other grids. That's the flexibility of Open Simulator in that way. But yes,
it has. I have my suitcase and my regular inventory here. So if I pick up things, rather than keep them in an inventory on the public grid, I keep them in an inventory on my own machine. But more importantly, I still have the suitcase, which means I can bring in and out.
Pick up other things,
shareable stuff, And the other thing I have to remember is to fill my suitcase before I travel with anything I might need while I'm traveling.
I love the sort of the symbolism of the suitcase, right?
Yeah.
Pack all your things in with it, go traveling, and pick up other things, put them in your suitcase. You had you had brought up Ferd, obviously, who's going to be showing off at this bit of technology that I kind of created. The other cool thing about the OSCC conference itself is we also have, so there's 5 expo zones as well, which has whole myriads of other content, and within that as well, there is a space. We brought up the Hypergrid Safari, the Hypergrid Tour, which is there's a Hypergrid Safari's tour at 11 a.m. on Sunday, but she also has there's a quarter of a region, an expo the OSCC Expo Zone 2 that is all hypergrid resources and landmarks and sort of goodies to pick up. So, if you come to the conference, it's a great kind of like, besides going to her tour and learning about it and kind of getting to some curated tours that particular day, she's got tons of resources. So it's a great way to introduce if you've got either if you're new to it or if you've got somebody else that you're trying to get to understand the hypergrid kind of concept, you can go there. Another kind of neat
She's also is also doing what promises to be a rather curious talk. I'm not going to paraphrase it, but it's called The Economy of Appreciation in OpenSim, and I kind of know a bit about what that's about, and I think that could be very interesting indeed too.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, I think it speaks to that idea of the larger community at large of all these grids and all spaces, and she has certainly connected to and discovered and explored more than the majority of most Open Simulator users through her hypergrid tours of various sorts.
She is everywhere in 100 different avatars.
Yeah.
And in fact, only today, I mean, Loru and Arthur are here because of Zosa chasing them up in many ways.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, she does at least mention that, in that talk that she's going to talk about what strategies she thinks are needed to kind of combine this sense of community and this more, various grids at large in all these worlds. So, and that she thinks that secret is appreciation, which, so I'm sure, and she'll get deeper into that. When I was talking about the OSCC Expos, though, another interesting piece, and this kind of goes back to the stuff Ferg, is that all the presentations, besides being on the stage at the particular times they're going to be in the keynote regions, they all have their own kind of virtual versions of like a poster session, right? So in the OSCC Expo Zone 3, every speaker kind of has a little booth that they put up, more information about what they were presenting about, or resources or giveaways or neat little kind of examples of some of the stuff that they were showing off. And Ferg is one of those folks that still has a booth he's presenting this year, and he's had a booth in the last couple of years that's in that poster session thing. And he has some interesting, besides the work that he's been doing with his the grid world, the dream world. He's also brilliant in regards to, and we brought up NPCs before, like NPCs and bots and scripting them to do complex things. And there's, you'll kind of meet one of his there's a dragon that's flying around.
The funniest thing, you're asking about Outworlds and, this grid being based on his thing. Or when I started building, 25 regions, as it were, I started off with a single region raw file and expanded it, so I had a working space in the corner, and that corner is still the landing point, as it would be if it was a single region. And of course, the default region, that I loaded being third, there are these oversized bees buzzing around and dogs following you. And I must admit, I had to remove a few things that were really becoming a bit of a pain in the ass. But it's wonderful stuff. It's wonderful stuff.
It's amazing. And you brought up Nara Malone. They did a lot of they collaborated a lot collectively together to use sort of his bots and scripting and NPCs in interesting ways to do storytelling and in Open Simulator, But I encourage everybody, and all the Expo regions are open to hypergrid. So whether you attend or not, like you can head to the OSCC Expo regions. Even in the now, they're open. The grid is open. Those are open, and explore around. We're kind of in a transition point before the event officially starts, where there's some folks taking down some booths and some expo booths coming back up, and that's another thing that in a similar way to the community events. It's another way that if you wanted a space or to be able to show off your stuff in a way like that, like the expo zones are actually they're part of the crowdfunder campaign that we run to kind of help finance the conference. And then also, it helps also finance other Avacon metaverse Open Simulator and other related things. But the part of the crowdfunder is you can actually get an expo booth, and it's up throughout the entirety of the year. So you can even, some folks have used it as a jumping off point and have little resources or shop areas or a place to kind of give their content or so yeah.
And of course, talking of add-on events, I mean, although the conference itself is a fairly serious agenda, despite its variety, and we are so full this year.
Yes. 7
Aren't
a.m. to
aren't we
6:30 p.m. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, adding
Almost
an
12
hour,
hours each day.
adding an hour to every day, just to get it all in. But of course, there are events before and after. There'll be a closing party, and there'll possibly be a theatre performance and things like that, and on the Friday before and stuff like that. So it's not all, there's a lot going on around the conference rather than just the conference itself, although the conference is the main thing. So
and although they are serious although the talks are serious talks in a way, like I said, the topics vary so widely that you can. There's nothing, you could kind of attend the ones that are interesting to you, explore the expo regions or some other things outside of it. And like, as you said too, any of the community or social events. And we'd love more, like, the main dates are the 9th and 10th of December. But if you want to host an event or even a workshop or something you're happening, anytime from like a week before the conference to a week or two after the conference, we'll throw that in there. And the great thing is anybody who's using the schedule as a tool, like, it will show up there. So if in your grid you're hosting an event that you think the larger Open Simulator, community that is aware of OSCC comes to and will see and will, go to the conference.opensimulator.org site and fill out the form to host a community event, and we'll put it up on the schedule. I mean, we'd love more, right? But
I don't know about this year, but I remember last year when I was sound checking presenters and things like that.
Sure.
I said, Loru will probably laugh at this, but the most common question, was this sort of Ruthie kind of avatar coming in. I said, where can I get something to wear?
Oh, yeah.
There is a shopping region, but a lot of it is default. Well, no, there's quite a lot of variety there now, isn't there? But
and
it's funny how yeah, it's funny, because it's like real world. If you're going to go to a posh conference, you want a decent suit or something to go in, or even better, a ball gown for the show, to dance afterwards or something. So
absolutely, and where I know that we brought up Franz Charming, but he's obviously one of our organizer team as well. But he's working on like redoing the shopping zone in general. So if you have content or that you want to see up there, that's another thing. Like, reach out to us and we can put it in there. If you're such that you'd like to see it being given to the general kind of attendees that show up and go to it. But that's being redone. There's also, even back to the expos, there's some neat things to find and explore there. Like Franco Grid has a booth there that has like a collection of their avatars. So even just there's some neat things. Though those aren't usually people in suits. They're usually much more fantastical. And I love the tree person that people keep, that I often see people around the grid. I think Serene Jewel used to show up as that often, but there's some great iconic kind of amazingly creative avatars that they have on their space.
Yeah, Franco Grid, of course, is home to Cherry Manga, who I don't know whether you know Cherry, Laurie, but on Franco Grid, but she's behind this thing called not the Avatar Fest, but it's another event called Avi Fest, and it's a celebration of avatars that people have made. Not. Well, it includes the fashion and the costume because it's kind of complete avatars, but there is some very strange avatars.
Yeah, and, often they're very highly fantastical and a good more than half of them probably aren't even human in focus, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, but a neat collection. So whether if you're looking for the suit and the professional garb, you know, certainly, and you're on the conference grid, you can head to the shopping zone. If you're looking for sort of something more magical, you know, you know, you can head over to you know, find Franco's Grid booth in the expo zone. I'm not I can't remember off the top of my head if they're in 3.
I remember one year. This is a little anecdote actually, because he hasn't done it for a few years now. But I remember one year, and this was actually before I was involved with it in any major way. Pathfinder Lester was in the audience, I think, for most of the time. I think he was doing a presentation too, and he was changing his avatar every 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that? It became a focal point in itself, you know. Turn your camera and see what Pathfinder's got on now, you know. It was
I'm not surprised. I mean, you know, there's, for those, Pathfinders, you know, John Lester, obviously in the real space, physical space, and in his time, and he worked for Linden Lab. I mean, actually, he had a neuroscience background and actually was in Second Life before he even worked for Linden Lab. But then he eventually worked for Linden Lab, and he had an iconic kind of looking avatar that was based on that Pathfinder concept that would be his default. But he would often kind of go through those sort of changes. Sometimes, you know, you'd go to an event and you'd see him show up as a sunflower, right? Or something. So I'm not surprised that, you know, even in Open Simulator, that he would do sort of similar, you know, expression.
There was another period when I had to be quite tough with him, because he comes on this show quite a lot, and eventually I was saying, "Come with something that's got lips, please." You know, because there's nothing more boring on TV than seeing a talking avatar that ain't talking, you know.
But is it creepier if a sunflower had lips? I don't know.
I don't know. Yes, that's true. But, you know, at least it would move with the action, so to speak.
True.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. But so yes, there's lots. I mean, I think there's lots to see. Whether you are somebody who wants to sit and watch a panel or presentation, and we've tried to encourage folks that are presenting to go beyond just slides. I mean, obviously, some folks, you know, are speaking in slides and that kind of things, but we try to encourage, you know, in your cases, you know, your panels, you're getting deeper in discussion and dialogue, but then with some we're encouraging, you know, there's some that have even, you know, pushed beyond that. They're, you know, rezzing models or parts of their simulations right on the stage. And I know that we'll probably see the train again. And
we got Slurtles with Karina.
Yep. And so we'll have that. Also, Kayaker Magic will be doing kind of, you know, live. Well, this time focused on things you can kind of do that aren't physics-based. So it's like, but yet still do things. So he's going to be, last time he was kind of going around the physics engine and sort of some of it's good and bad, and almost giving us, you know, it's one thing to sort of say a dry stat or list a bug of, well, the physics engine doesn't work this way, but actually kind of giving us live show and tells about here's how this should work and here's what's happening now, like actual simulations in the space where we're in to kind of illustrate points, and in fun ways. I mean, he happens. I
think that kind of it's not entertainment per se, but it's a visual, you know, display that really helps. I mean, you know, in some ways, you know, it might be highly interesting, but in some ways there's immersion-wise, there's nothing more boring than somebody just standing there talking their thing and maybe showing some slides, whereas if they're doing something in front of you. Mm-hmm. And actually, Thurza and I were, you know, saying this to probably Loru, but everybody, you know, on the HIE thing is that, you know, the more visual things you can do, the better, especially in our case, because in any quarter of the event, you're going to have 3 languages that don't understand the language being used. So the more visual you can make it, the better, and the more engaging it is. Yeah, people will sit through a foreign language for an hour if it's fun to watch, you know.
And even just as we saw today, the idea that there was a model here live changing is enough to kind of add that extra bit, I think of the future. Yeah. Yep. So I know that Kayaker Magic has, joked and joked and threatened that he'll be probably throwing snowballs at the audience. So, if you're in the front row, be wary. But yeah, so there, it should be. I think it should be interesting. I don't know, James, or if you've gotten to look at anything too, to sort of see if there's things. I know you're probably going to be playing camera a lot during, because you're helping out. Thank you for that too.
Yep.
But if there are things you're like interested in seeing during.
I just I haven't perused the schedule that much, but I just love the way that people are using this platform for creativity, expression, experience. And the conference just brings that all together in such a great way.
Very much so. By the way, James, have we got any other comments from audience, or they're just sitting there lapping it up?
Just lapping it up, enjoying the show.
Yeah, there's always a few live viewers, but they don't talk very much. Although most of our viewers happen midweek, well, in their own time, which I suppose is the way video should be, really.
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of the audience, in the here and now, and then the audience in the later, right? Like it's.
Yeah, it's called video on demand for those that speak English.
Yeah.
It's simple English. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. So I've still got this darned agenda open actually, but it's kind of mind-boggling really. Digital Art Museum, that's on there. Obviously some research-specific stuff. Bringing literature to life. That should be a good one too. Yeah, there really is something for everything here. Oh, yeah. And even language learning. We've got Spanish language learning. Could do with that a week later.
Certainly, yeah. Before the Hypergrid Expo.
Can I have a quick course in Spanish in Inworld, please? I want to speak it fluently within an hour.
Yeah. And we also have another creative one too. Where we have an artist more from the focus on performance who she's a Portuguese artist, and she is created through an artist residency that she had where she was using things like Open Simulator and Second Life, has been working on creating an animation database, like sort of resource for others, interested in performance. So yeah.
It's like me hunting through my inventory for half my animations are in the animations folder. I can never find the other half. I wish there was an easy, that's something we should have a panel on. How to sort tools to sort out that darned inventory. Management. How to manage your virtual self.
The brain.
Yeah, the inventory is a real.
Yeah.
All it takes is a couple of errand days, and you've completely forgotten where everything is.
We were, and I've just one more interesting one too. I was just scrolling down on Sunday morning. Folks may know Austin Tate or AI Austin.
Oh yeah.
Him with a couple with his collaborator Fumi Hacks. They're going to go over their OR converter. So basically using Open Simulator and Unity as that shared development, which we were talking about that before, but that idea of being able to, that how he, AI Austin created an OR utility to be able to do that, take your content out, export it, bring it into like a 3D platform like Unity. So he's going to go over that as too. So there's a lot of even good hands-on stuff like him and Fur.
The OER converter is remarkable because I think it was Joey that finally pointed this out to me. Is I was able to save a region, as an OER file in OpenSim. And it wasn't, you then put it through the OER converter, and it produces a folder of strangely named, masses of DAE files. Now, if I had a sofa or something, then I was able to just drag it into Unity and pass it through the upload into SciSpace, for example.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know, because I was on my local inventory looking at all these DAE files, trying to figure out which was which, and I have a little preview thing in Windows Explorer that I plugged in that allows me to see the DAE objects. But what I didn't realize is that you can drag the whole folder of DAEs into Unity, and it all comes up in the right position.
Yeah, like so it's like your simulation all over again.
Yeah, he took a Linda Kelly file, her shopping center or something. He dragged it into Unity, and every single bit of the building and everything was actually in exactly the right position. So then it was a quick upload into SciSpace or Cyber Lounge, and you got the whole thing looking exactly like it does in OpenSim, except the scripts won't work, of course.
Yeah, scripts and sometimes you'll get a little weird texture thing sometimes too. But
for manipulating stuff in bulk, as soon as I saw that, I thought, potential here.
Yep. And Austin will be talking about that tool. I mean, which we can thank him for it. Sort of in the same way of thanking Ferd for his work. I think that's the cool thing is, even though some of these talks are serious, like even if you're just a general open simulator, builder, or you have a space somewhere, there's a lot of useful kind of tools and tips and things that you can kind of bring back and then, apply to your own work or your own space on your own grid somewhere, Yeah,
for sure. Okay, well, let's remind people where they're going to come. As Joyce said, I will plug the HIE too, because to remind you that we're really, really looking for the agenda is pretty much done. I'm sure we could use some more from Germany to join Loru Go, but particularly help in translation. If you are multilingual in you can speak any combination basically of Italian, French, Spanish, German, or English. We want you, because that is really going to be the most useful thing with a thing that's in 4 languages. But coming back to OCC, as Joyce mentioned, the agenda is now full, very, very full.
Yes, but more social events, more community events, we would love those. So if you didn't get into the schedule and you still want to host something on your own grid somewhere, then please, we would love that.
Let us know. And also, it is not too late if you want to volunteer for some of the other roles we have, like
greeters,
greeters, even camera operators for that matter. And that doesn't mean, you don't need to be a machinima maker to stand with a camera. And we will train you.
Which those are useful skills too. That we will. Marcus Llewellyn, as we were talking about, has worked up a lot of training resources, and we'll do even hands-on one-on-one, and then you can take those skills back later on and use them to capture machinima of things, but you don't need that beforehand. We will train so that moderators who, as we're saying, they're on Skype in the call with us, and they get streamed out and recorded, and you're basically introducing and helping them with some of the questions and things.
Yeah.
And then,
very often that's simple if you're confident in voice, because we can give you a script.
Oh,
so
yes.
You say now.
So there's now
ad-libbing. Yeah, exactly. You don't need to be a stand-up professional.
Yep. So we have scripts for everything, and then and greeters, which to your point, they're kind of the first kind of front line of interacting with folks, making sure everything's okay, if anybody needs any help and that kind of thing. So if you generally just want to help out, that's a great place to be, and you still get to see the conference while helping people asking questions, making sure they sit, things like that. So that's if we certainly need lots more of those. The more the merrier with regards to greeters. And conference.opensimulator.org is the URL, and you'll find the information there for how to volunteer, how to. There's a Get Involved tab right at the top, and that is where you find both how to sign up to volunteer, and then also how to submit if you want to do a community event in your own space, to where the form for that is too. So the Get Involved tab is the one where both of those are at. So we'd love to see more people, and that's the 9th and 10th again of December. So
sure. I've just came back to we'll probably put our camera back there. We've got the sign up there. Oddly enough, we haven't got the URL on that, but you've just heard it anyway. And
simulator.org.
yeah, and I've also moved on. Hypergrid International Expo is the weekend after, and we'll have more on that probably next week and stuff. But as I said, translators and other people that want to get involved with that. It's 4 half days, and each half day is in either French, Spanish, Italian, or German. Although there will be most of it will be done in language groups. So there will obviously be an English language group, so that people who don't speak any of the 4 will be able to hopefully follow things a bit through the English group. And yeah, translators wanted, and anything, show and tell on the great wide hypergrid, basically, if you've got anything there. And finally, a poster. This is actually, oops, it's not coming up, from last week. Just a bit of advance notice. V Revolutions is Virtual World's Best Practices in Education. That's coming up March 15th, 17th next year. So that's a fair old way. Again, but their call for proposals for that has also gone out, as we discussed with Kevin last week. So, yeah, just click back on my home screen now. I think I've got everything in that I'm meant to get in. Yeah. Okay, well, I think this has been a great show. We got through so much, It's been really, I loved the fashion show, and especially having a live model, Loru, that just made it, good television. When I'm closing the show, I did already ask James, in fact, about audience questions or anything. But anything for you, James? Any questions for Loru, Joyce, or Art at all?
Just I haven't done much with outfits, as is probably plainly evident by my appearance. But I
need to redo your avatar.
Yeah, exactly. But I was curious. Laura, are you able to use the layers on a standard avatar in different ways than they're intended? I think, isn't there a jacket layer and a tattoo layer and a skin layer? And I was wondering if that was part of the work that you did with designing. Does that make sense?
No, whether I'm doing something with an avatar. No, not really. No. Unfortunately not. But I can start.
Yeah. No, just curious. That's all.
Yeah, I think I think there's a particular way now that you can add extra layers to mesh avatars, so you're not confined to one mesh layer. Wasn't that it, Loru? So you can add extra layers to the mesh. In other words, it's a mesh layer on a mesh layer kind of thing.
Yes, we can do. Yeah.
How does, without getting too complicated, how does that work? Is that just an extra texture that you create that becomes almost like an alpha on top of the mesh, or?
When I do this mesh thing, no, this is it's a tool you use, so you can do these layers. I hope it's the right answer.
Tool, yeah.
Yes, it's a tool.
What's the tool?
It's really easy to handle. It's not a big problem. But what you must have is the original texture
of the mesh itself. Yeah.
What's the tool called?
What's the tool? Yeah.
It's a plier called. I have to look. I don't know.
I'm curious.
They have a plier, something like this. Well, I don't know.
Thanks.
I'm not wearing it right now, but I now have a default mesh avatar. His lips don't move, and he's a bit long in the face, and he's good, but not quite perfect. I've got the alpha layer and the height maps and all the bits that go, and when I'm wearing him, it's just 3 bits of it. There's no clothes I'm wearing. The clothes are part of the mesh and everything. And I keep thinking, well, how do I export the alpha and punch a hole in the mouse so that I can see through to the lips and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So, and if I can find a tool that allows me to tweak my mesh.
Wouldn't that have to be a rigging problem? I mean, I guess it would have to have bones and be rigged, the mouse, in order to do that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but Joey, in fact, was the one he actually designed the mesh avatar with me. We did it live together. And Marcus is the one who actually rigged it. And it's hard to tell whether it's the original mesh avatar that needs changing or the rigging, but all I know is the alpha layer has great big holes in my eyes, right? But it doesn't have a hole in my mouth. So it's like looking at a human skull where the sockets where the eyes should be, but nothing where the mouth should be. And I figure if I could just get that alpha out and punch a hole where my mouth should be, that would do it, wouldn't it? Give myself a good thump in the mouth to make a mouth, if you see what I mean. Anyway, I'm sure it is nothing like that simple. That's why I have people doing it for me. Okay, well, I always like to finish, by just going around everybody here in turn, just to see if you've got anything else to say that, maybe not necessarily about the stuff we talked about so far, but anything on your mind that you'd like to say while you're here. And maybe I'll start with you, Art. Obviously, we saw your artwork and heard a bit from you, but you've been quite quiet. Anything of interest going on that you want to talk about or tell people or ask people?
No, I found quite interesting some of these things that will be going on at this conference. I also recently have installed this Outworld software. I can really recommend it.
Yeah, great.
Uploaded a large VAR region and plus some other things, and for people just starting out too, it's really good because it's all of the ORRs which come built in with the software. You get essentially you can try out different sims which are for free.
There's a lot of people like Joe Builder have contributed OEL files to the project. So, you don't have to use them, but there's a whole collection, aren't there, available?
Yeah. For people starting out, I think it's very good. But what was most interesting for me was the fact it solved my NAT loop problems, because several times I've tried to have my own server, but always run into NAT loop problems.
Yeah.
And it's really solved that. So now I can hypergrid everywhere.
Well, it's the same with me here, and I can film shows here. It is a wonderful way of doing things. I mean, I was talking to Pathfinder Lester about this, and I said, this is the way to go. This should be the future. Everybody has their own virtual home on their desktop and they interconnect from there. But he did rightly point out, but can you see the average user ever getting to thinking like that? It requires a bit techie. Not a techie, because I'm not, but, somebody with that sort of, well, why can't I do that, attitude. A lot of users don't have that, but Third makes it so darned easy.
Yeah. And I think people have evolved over time to know that everybody, look at YouTube, everybody thinks they can make videos and has those capabilities. So maybe that'll evolve that way with virtual environments too, right? Who knows?
Yeah, it's a mind shift. It's a small market at the moment, and it's actually a mind shift from moving away to the idea of being hosted and being on the service and hosting yourself and being your own service. But I wish the web was a bit more like that still. It's I think some people always do the easiest thing of signing up for the service, or fair's fair. They want to be on they'll sign up for the Great Canadian Grid because they want to join a medieval roleplay region or something. There's another reason behind why they choose that. But no, I agree with Art. Outworlds is just fine, and I know the new version that Fur's going to announce at the conference is it will have built-in Globits currency transfers if you want it, but you don't have to have it, and a whole other load of tweaks plus some enhancements that you'll get if you move to the '09 Open Sim series, which will be, at the moment it's listed as dev, but it will be of the release version in the next one. So yeah, quite a few big changes as he's going to do there, and I suspect there's going to be a lot more in the user control panel because at the moment, there are certain things you can only do by going into the OpenSim code base and editing the files. And I think he'll probably add a bit more to control panels to make life easier for those of us who daren't touch code. A disaster is looming. Get me anywhere near the code. I change a letter and break everything, Whoops. But I can't say enough about Outworlds. It's changed my whole outlook on the hypergrid because, I'm now a point of presence on the hypergrid. And that is my home. And, I still go to Canada for anything I want to, for doing a public show. And I still hypergrid around everywhere. But, all the control of inventory and everything else like that is in my own hands. And when I'm on my own, Art just made a very good point. If you are serious about being new and wanting to play around, although it's needs explaining what you're setting up, it's a great playground because who cares? It's your own grid. You don't have any other residents necessarily. You can do what the hell you want and see if it works or blows up your machine and not worry.
Yeah, another thing is it's so easy with ERR and OR. You can just drag and drop into the control panel.
Yeah.
And load directly into your inventory or change your world. It's just
exactly
in a few seconds, huh?
Yeah, a few seconds. Every 5 minutes you can be a different world. It's just another OAR file you replace the first one with.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't need to start going in the console and remembering these different lines, putting in your password and pathway.
I sometimes look at the console, which is running in the background, and as part of what I'm doing, I think, well, what the hell's that all about? I don't know. It says Mal Burns has just done something, and I say, yeah, but what? Yeah,
well, I've been down the console road, and still after several years, you tend to forget a comma or a period and have to start all over again. It's such a relief just to be able to drag and drop a file and it's done.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What is interesting for me in this is when you create things and you do this in a grid or what is not your own. The owner, he does all this ORs for himself, so this person can rest your things and use however this person likes to. So this is also a question of trust where you build things, and when you can do it in your own grid, you're really safe. It's yours.
Yes, yeah, you can, if you're open to the hybrid grid, there are ways people can come to your grid and take stuff. But if you don't want them to, it's very hard for them to do it. And, these are people that have to do hard work at being criminals, basically, as you say. And also, I keep this grid up all the while. But there's nothing to say you can't, like you start up your computer in the morning. If you shut it down overnight, you can shut down your server overnight too. So, people can't get in when you're not around and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think some people criticize it because, on your own grid, you've got God powers and can get away with certain liberties. But in fact, the flip side of that coin is it offers you a lot more security because you really are in control of your own environment until you hypergrid out. And that's no different from hypergridding from a commercial grid either. And, you know, most commercial grids, you can trust them not to hijack your material. But you're quite right. The moment you open an account on the commercial grid, that grid's got everything of yours, you know.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so anything else, any other final thoughts, Loru? Anything else you want to say while you're here?
No, yes, I really, it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me and to give me the chance to show my fashion and to tell people about this fashion show. Really, much appreciated.
Okay. Well,
yes.
I'm gonna ask James to quickly switch the camera again to the screen where we've got all the information about where to go next Saturday. And do bear in mind 18:30 is German time, which is, I guess, Central European time, isn't it?
No, it's German time. I don't know what is it.
When did it start? Yeah.
This year.
When did it start? Yeah. It's 1830 Central European.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
People must. I don't know what is it.
What time is it in where?
Well, basically in the west coast of America, they're 9 hours behind that.
9 hours behind, so it is really.
So it will be 11:30 in the morning for anybody on the Pacific coast. So it's easily accessible daytime for Americans too. So do pop over there. You've seen the fashions, now you can go get them.
That's perfect.
Oh, that is a point. Are you selling them or giving them, or probably on the hypergrid, giving them away during the fashion show, or are you just showing them off?
No, and you can get the dresses. They're all there for free, of course. There will be some of these I have in the castle, so you can have a look and take there. But I will also put them into a shop. Now I can't say exactly what shop because I'm now changing a little bit the place. But yes, everything what I do is for free, and you can take them home after the fashion show. But not the models, only the fashion.
Oh, okay. So I can't get any additional jiggly bits. Right. Okay. I'm sorry. Right. Yes, I understand. I can't have the model, but I can have what she's wearing. Second best, really, isn't it? Okay. Closing thoughts from you, James, if anything.
Nope. I'm good. Thanks.
You're good. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. And okay, you've had a few minutes to think of anything else, Joyce. Any closing thoughts?
Sure. I mean, just obviously, it would be great to see more folks at the Open Simulator Community Conference. We can create local accounts for folks on the grid. If you register, you can ask for one. So even if you want it to be a home base and jumping off point, we have much thanks to Krista Lopes, who's obviously also at the Hypergrid, who helps host that. It's at the UC Irvine campus, the grid is. But you can all freely hypergrid in as well too. So go to conference.opensimulator.org. And we'd love to see more folks. We'd love to have some more volunteers, and I'd love to see more community events too on our schedule. So that would be great. Thank you. Now. And
a final thought, actually, apart from the website, what's the hypergrid, Earl? This is CC conference.
It's cc.opensimulator.org /:8002. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it is CC conference. Okay. Do we have the conference in it, or CC Open Simulator?
CCOpenSimulator.org. In essence, OpenSimulator.org is the portal for the core developers.
Yeah.
And we in collaborating with them, we use a subdomain. The conference.opensimulator.org is the web address for the conference, and cc.opensimulator.org /:8002 is the hypergrid address. So.
Yeah, I should know that by now, but I always got confused about the CC.
Yeah, I think it's just a quick
I finally remember
community conference.
Yeah, exactly. I finally got used to putting conference in front of opensimulator.org, but the CC, yeah. Okay, so basically, anybody who's online and on the hypergrid enabled region, on any hypergrid enabled grid, can just jump over there and see what's going on.
Yep.
Check out some shopping beforehand and the expos and things like that.
Yep, absolutely. All that stuff is there right now. So, go over and explore, and then come back for the conference later, and host your own events around it, and just let us know, and we'll put that too in the schedule.
Absolutely wonderful. Okay, well, I'm going to call it a wrap. I think we're all pretty exhausted now for this week. So I'd like to thank my guests again individually. I'd like to thank Art, Destiny, I guess. I'm checking the name of this particular avatar, but never. I'd like to thank Art, Destiny. Thank you, Art.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Loru, Destiny. Thank you, Loru.
Thank you.
I will thank Ice Lady again, even though she's gone, for really brightening up the show no end. And thank you to Joyce. Thank you, Joyce.
Thanks, and thank you, Mal, for everything you do to help with the conference as well.
And thank you, James, who, as always, is multitasking, operating all our cameras too. And I bet he had a time with Ice Lady. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah,
absolutely, Mal. It's great. It's fun to move the camera around a little bit, so I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, brighten up your day.
Yep.
I'm mine and all of us. It brightened up the show. Full stop. Okay, well, with that, I'm out of here. So I wish you all a very good morning, a very good evening, a very good afternoon, or indeed a very good tomorrow, depending on wherever and whenever you are. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.